So what was the plan coming into this class? What did you need to accomplish?
It's funny, we kept throwing it around. I mean, obviously, we have our quota on scholarship right now, which we all know is very unusual. What happened going into the season? We've talked about it all year. You know, we had 4 seniors when I got here. Then you go into it, and you got Deuce's deal with the eligibility thing. Then JT ends up having surgery when the season starts. Tyler Horn makes it 1 quarter. You know, and blessed that they all had a redshirt year.
Yeah.
So they're all back next year, thinking we were probably going to sign 4 guys this year. We get 3 of them back, and we got 15 guys on scholarship, and that's normally what we carry. With another guy that we had signed a couple years ago that should be back, you know, in the fall. But we can't talk about him right now just because his paperwork's not all in. I'm sorry, guys. But anyway, the last couple of weeks, we actually threw it around all year. Okay, we're worried about, because we lose so many inside guys, you know, we need to talk about taking one.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I went out, actually the open date, our last open date, went and saw a few kids. And we come back, and we said, we can't do it with our numbers. And then so we get into a week and a half ago, we said, kept looking at it because our boards stay really 2 years down the road. And I kept saying, guys, we lose, we're not going to have any inside guys. I mean, we're losing 7 guys, and they're all inside guys. None of them are edge guys. So what are we going to practice with a year from now? So anyway, we said, well, we better go find 2. We got to make room for them. And, you know, so that obviously that's what we did. We went out and found 2 guys that we felt like were our type of people, you know, and that, yes, they weren't really highly recruited, but when you look at the group that we played with this year, you know, with the exception of Kamale, I don't really know how many of them were highly recruited. And we were talking about Sam Whitney earlier, and it was kind of ironic that I think when I came here last year, everybody talks about the Boise State culture and what it's all about and the winning tradition and everything. And I think until you've been here, you don't really realize what they're talking about. You know, we take, I think, a bunch of good old boys or blue-collar guys, and they become really good football players. And this university and football is important to them. And when we started over to see Sam Whitney and started looking at him and talking about him, everybody in Sacramento kept saying he's a Boise State guy. And he is. I mean, when you look at him, he's a heck of a football player. And everybody asked what I saw in him. I said, one thing, you know, he's close to 6'3". He's only 230 right now, but the big thing is he's got a 67-inch or 6'7" wingspan. So he's got unbelievable length in the arms, and I think a great first step, great get off. And I compare him to Bo, the way he plays, the way he goes about the game. I'm just, you know, I think he's just got a great future ahead of him.
So you look at both those guys as inside guys down the line?
You know, I'm hoping they'll grow into that.
Yeah.
And obviously he needs to put on a little weight. He's got a great upper body, really broad shoulders, like I said, great length. You know, he's going to have to get a little bigger from the waist down, and he will be good, I think, when it's all over. And the other one, Matt, is just the opposite. You know, I went all the way back to his sophomore year. He actually played defensive end or outside linebacker his sophomore year and did a great job. And then they moved him to Mike linebacker, so everybody couldn't run away from him, obviously. Good coaching. You know, he can go either way. Very athletic, but he's just the opposite, man. He's 250 pounds, and it's from the waist down. You know, so once and he's playing basketball right now, I think once his upper body develops, and I told him the other day, I said, man, don't worry about putting weight on too quick. We'll get it on you. I don't even care. You're not going to play a snap next year, you know, most likely. So just get here and let's see what happens to your body, because he's so big. I mean, he's going to weigh, I believe, 270 or 80. He's going to be Tyler Horn. He'll be 270, 280 before it's all over, and could be this time next year. And we just got to get him in our weight program. And I mean, it's going to be different for him, and he knows what we're hoping he'll grow into. We're hoping he'll grow into that inside guy. But he might be just like the other guys. He might have to start on the edge and then work his way inside, because it's a different world once you get down in there now.
So he comes in August, and Whitney's coming in January. Is that the plan?
Well, it's all still up in there.
Okay.
You know, I mean, yes, he's coming. Whitney, we're not sure yet. You know, you know how it goes with this. Everybody gets there. Who knows if somebody leaves the squad between now and then? So it could be either way. I told Sam Whitney to be ready to come in. In my opinion, the odds are he'll be here in the fall too. You know.
And then just start doing a whole lot of homework, getting ready to build a bunch of tackles for next year.
We started actually, you know, back earlier, but we got a few of them on the phone today. You know, we got some guys, we got a hold of their high school coaches and made some offers today. And yeah, we got to get started. And just like I said when we started, it's just like what Juice went through this year. For sure, we will sign 5 or 6. Could go to 7. Just depends on what happens. And we want them to be the right guys. Kind of got in the back of my mind right now, just like we did at defensive back, we probably need to go find 2 JC guys, and then the rest of them would be high school guys, whatever we had left.
Almost all inside guys, or you need a couple outside guys too?
You know, more important than inside guys, you can take an outside guy and work him into the inside. You know, and what I'm looking for is just like what I talked about with Sam. I'm looking for that length. You know, we need a true nose, because all of those guys graduate with the exception of Bose. And you know, when you look at Nance, Ash, JT, you know, every one of those guys are nose guards, and they all graduate this year. So we've got to really find a nose guard, I think, and that's big as far as the JC guy. In the 3 technique, you know, we should be okay, because you will have Elliott back. And Sam can swing either way like he did this year. He could go inside or out. You know, so a lot of that will depend on what we do sign. We would like to sign probably a couple outside guys and the rest of them inside and go from there.
Is there a chance a guy like Sam moves back outside this year, because you've got so much depth all of a sudden in the middle?
Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at, to be honest with you. He and Tyler both might go outside at the defensive end. But just like you've seen our scheme, I mean, you look at what we did with Bo this year. I mean, they still have to be able to slide inside and play. So whether our defensive end, our nose guard, our tackle, they basically all need to be the same type of body, hoping that true defensive end to the field, you know, is going to have more speed, and he'll be a little bit smaller.
Your 2 JUCO guys from last year, Turner and McNair. I mean, Turner played some, McNair didn't really play a lot, but then he had one of the biggest sacks of the season there at the end. You expecting those guys to maybe have more of a role next year?
Yeah, I would have loved to have been able to redshirt those guys this past year. You know, neither one of them, unfortunately, didn't have a redshirt year coming. So I think there's no doubt. I mean, they didn't get to be here last year and go through spring practice. It was summer before they got here. I think you saw them get better and better, you know, and I think Antoine has a chance to really be a good football player, and he's growing up every day. And you know, it's funny when you talk about a 21 or 22-year, you know, young man, that he's growing up, but I'm talking about he's growing up on the football field as a football player within the scheme, which you guys know I'm pretty picky on those little things. They'll tell you sometimes maybe too picky. But, and then Rondell, like you said, I mean, we played him more and more as the year went on. And I think he's one of those kids that has to play more. We just never really had the opportunity to get him in the game a lot, you know, because we had some close games coming down through there as much as I wanted to. But I think the more he plays, the better he's going to get, because he has so much athletic ability. It would have been such a great blessing if both of those kids could have redshirted last year, just because they didn't get to go through spring practice. But now they've been through the whole season. They'll go through spring practice with us this year. I'm expecting big things out of both of them next fall.
Antoine's playing time kind of went the opposite of Rondell. He played more early and not very much late. What happened with him late in the season?
Well, I think we just, you know, Robert played a little bit better. It kind of went up and down. I tried to, you know, whoever was playing the best and had the best week of practice, we tried to rotate all 3 of them, obviously with Nance, you know, starting, and then Armand and Robert splitting the second team, if you want to look at it like that. In the bowl game now, they all played a bunch. They were going 100 miles an hour. I was afraid we were going to run out of gas before it was all over.
Will Antoine stay at nose?
Yes.
Okay.
Right now I'm planning on him staying at nose.
Okay.
So what'd you do most of this recruiting cycle? You didn't have any D linemen to go get. What'd you do for the most of this recruiting cycle?
You know, we went out with some of the guys, tried to do some home visits, and then, like you said, the last 2 weeks we really pushed it hard, and I jumped around and went to a number of different places, just trying to look at some kids and.
For next year.
Yes, for next year, and these two positions we were trying to find. And we weren't just going to take anybody. We wanted, again, to make sure they fit into this program and that they were going to be good players too.
Do you feel like you got a nice little jump on next year then?
Not yet. Maybe on this night next year I'll feel like it.